Hello everyone. Today I'd like to talk to you about a topic that for many of you is destroying your ability to reach your fitness and athletic goals and to live a joyful life. It's an affliction that I notice affects a lot of really great people. That affliction is perfectionism. So what is perfectionism? Well, it is a highly destructive personality skill. And yes, I said skill because it can be learned and it can be unlearned. It's the incorrect belief that unless you meet others or your own perception of what 100% perfect is, then you're a failure. So what does an example of perfectionism look like? If we take someone who's a fitness client, they're trying to lose body fat, so they know they're going to start exercising. They might set a really high expectation for themselves to exercise 7 days a week, which is pretty ambitious, by the way. And they might exercise 6 out of those 7 days and miss, obviously, 1 day. Now, the perfectionist mindset is going to be overly critical and say, look at what a failure I am. I didn't reach my 7 days. Now, if you step out of that, what a normal, healthy person would say, and what I would say at this point in my life, is I would say, wow, Brian, you exercised 6 days this week. You are 6 days better than if you wouldn't have. The problem with perfectionism is that the perfectionist never allows themselves to actually feel the accomplishment of, in this case, those 6 days of success because they're too wound up in the 1 day of failure. Needless to say, this type of behavior prevents people from really experiencing all the true joys in life of seeing themselves put in hard work and get accomplishments and get returns from it. They're too focused on their failure. Now, I used to be a perfectionist, so I get it. And take it from me, life gets a lot better after you make the change. So what are the roots of perfectionism? Well, typically what happened is when you were a child, someone made you feel stupid or inadequate. Usually this is going to be a parent, a family member, maybe a teacher, maybe some other kids. But the problem is the lesson that you learned from that is that it is not okay to make mistakes because you will be judged and you're a terrible person. In reality, we all know that mistakes are how we grow. We learn from mistakes. It's human and normal to make mistakes, and everybody makes them. People that are amazing athletes, people that are super fit, people that are great at sales, great at music, anything, made tons of mistakes on the path to becoming as great as they are. And guess what? They still make mistakes. Perfectionism literally is a coping mechanism to protect our ego. One of my clients gave me a funny reference. He said, when we were a kid, someone made fun of our lunchbox, and from that point forward, we had to find a way to protect our egos or protect ourselves against being made fun of again. Some people become class clowns, some people become aggressive and mean, some people become shy introverts and block everything out, and other people become perfectionists because a perfectionist in their mind thinks that if I do everything perfectly, no one will have a reason to criticize me, and thus I can live a safe life free from being made to feel stupid. Now, the problem with this is because no one ever makes mistakes, there's rarely any growth, and perfectionists do tend to be very emotionally immature. I know I used to be when I was a perfectionist. Now, perfectionism will manifest in a variety of different ways that you might be able to relate to. One of them is the workaholic. Now, the workaholic is going to work extra hours. They're going to stress out about projects more than anyone else on their team. They take less days off, less vacation. And the problem with this is, once again, they're not doing it to be awesome. They're doing it to make other people like them, or even to create a feeling of superiority to others, which is just not cool. You'll see your coworkers, like I said, take days off, take vacations, maybe go home early or just go home on time. You'll see your coworkers not getting as stressed out about things. Things just don't bug them as much if a project's not going properly. And this will tend to make you jealous. And that's not fair to them, and it's not fair to you. So cut it out. Self-criticism is another way that it will manifest, and we discussed that before. That's when someone is so critical of their own perceived failures that they can't see where they've made successes in life. So you go on a diet and you eat really great for 6 days, and on the 7th day you binge on ice cream. And you're like, oh hell, I'm terrible, I suck. There's the validation I need to prove that I'm a terrible person. Look, the reality is you had 6 days of success. You should be celebrating those instead of criticizing yourself. Now, perfectionists are often very critical of others. In fact, in some areas of their life, they can be very nice people, and in other compartmentalized areas of their life, they can actually be very not nice people. And usually it manifests because of the superiority complex they have created by thinking that their way is the only way, their way is the right way. I'm guilty of that in the past. I used to say this is the right way to exercise, this is the right way to eat. The reality is that's not true. There are lots of people who are fit and in shape who eat a variety of different ways and exercise a variety of different ways. So the reality is, in maybe 1% of life, is there such a thing as objective, this is the way to do it, and the rest of life is subjective. But perfectionists think that their way is the right way, so they will often talk down to other people and make them feel stupid. Perfectionists are often very self-destructive as well. For instance, they are so afraid of failure that they don't want to risk going out and starting a new endeavor like learning a new sport or trying to lose weight because they're afraid of the criticism of others. Because, let's be honest, embarking on anything that is worthwhile is a struggle, and it takes time, and there will be mistakes made. And all of those mistakes are opportunities for them to feel bad about themselves based on all the other things we've been talking about. A lot of times you may find yourself doing a self-destructive behavior, like you're focused on getting lean and you start binging on junk food. That's a type of self-destructive behavior that you're taking subconsciously to prove to yourself how inadequate you are based on what happened when you were a child. So we have to recognize these things in order to be able to fix them. By the way, you are not inferior and you're not stupid. I'm just going to lay that out there. Cool, get on with your life now. Now, once again, the reason that people try to be perfectionists is because they're trying to win the approval of others. They're trying to get people to like them. Ironically, as you could tell by all the previous things that perfectionists tend to do, it makes people actually not like you. There's several reasons for it. One, having superiority complex, of course, will make other people not like you. But two, nobody really likes perfect people. Real people are fallible. Real people make mistakes. And if you want other people to like you, you have to be fallible. You have to be relatable to them. I'll give you a good example. There was a recent poll I saw about who's everyone's favorite superhero between Superman and Batman. Well, Batman won by a landslide victory, and when people were asked why, it was because no one could relate to Superman. He was perfect. Batman was fallible. He had to fight his own demons. He could be hurt. He had to overcome and struggle, and basically, he was like all of us, right? So we can relate to him. Whereas, how do you relate to Superman, right? The guy's just Mr. Perfect from day one. Okay, are you ready to finally start getting over your perfectionism? Good, I'm going to leave that in there. Here are the steps that I've found to be beneficial to help you get over perfectionism. First and foremost, you have to admit that you're a perfectionist, or you could say I'm a recovering perfectionist. Own up to it and realize it's time to move forward. 2, realize that perfectionism is an inappropriate, incorrect perception about life. That says that if I act in a certain way, if you act in a certain way, you will earn the approval of others. When in reality, it kind of has the opposite effect. And just to piggyback on that, living a life where you're constantly trying to win the approval of others is no way to go through life. I mean, yeah, we have to some degree, do things that others approve of, or we're probably going to wind up in prison or having no friends at all. But there's a fine line, and we want to make sure we're on the correct side of that line. Now, you might try things like a support group. You find other perfectionists or other people who are even recovering from something else, just helps keep things inside and in mind for you. Another thing that's great for insight in mind is to go out and find YouTube videos on how to get over perfectionism, or how to get over feeling like you're stupid or inadequate, or whatever you think caused your perfectionism. You might find some tips that I haven't listed that really resonate with you, that help you out. And if you just watch a video like every day, it'll keep things inside in mind, and that'll help accelerate your change. I'm also a huge fan of self-hypnosis, and I've had a lot of success with that myself. There's probably lots of websites out there, but the one that I found that I use frequently is hypnosisdownloads.com. And they have all kinds of categories. You'll find perfectionism, stop feeling you're stupid. Search through, find something that resonates with you. Listen to it every day, and you'll be very surprised that you'll probably start finding some internal changes happening, which is really, really cool to see happen. Next, make sure to catch yourself in the act of being a perfectionist and interrupt it. So if you're a workaholic and you find yourself working late because you have to be perfect on a project, just stop and say, hey, you know what? Let's be objective about this. Is this above and beyond what my boss or my coworkers would expect? If so, stop. Go home. In most companies, you are absolutely 100% replaceable as far as they're concerned, so there's no reason for you to do too much more than what's expected of you, because let's be honest, they probably wouldn't do it for you. If you are overly critical of yourself or someone else, stop it, interrupt it, replace it with a compliment about yourself or a compliment about that other person. Shoot for 90% quality instead of 100% quality. If you are a perfectionist, your 90% quality is probably better than what most other people are doing anyway. Now, I'm going to give you an example from my own life of something that has helped me. So after I got over my perfectionism is when I started a YouTube channel. Now, here's the deal. I'm pretty new to this. There's people who've been doing this a lot longer that have much more polished videos than mine. Whatever, that's cool. I could have taken the next 5 years to finally hone and perfect my YouTube videos. But why? What the hell would I be accomplishing in that? So I would have something that's a little bit more polished. So I got to wait 5 years before I start, helping my clients or helping other people. Look, here's the deal. You don't have to be perfect, just better than you were. So every video I make, I try to make a little bit better. I don't criticize myself if I look and go, oh man, I talked too long on that one. Who cares? Next one I'll make better, right? So this is called self-mastery oriented. I don't have to be perfect. I just have to look and pick something to get better at and keep making progress. Now, let's talk about real results. What have the real results been of that? My business has grown. If I would have waited until things were perfect, my business wouldn't be growing. But even just putting out these videos, and I'm still struggling through these, my business is growing and I'm helping people. I get compliments from my clients or comments from my clients that say how something has resonated with them. So, look, it's going to be no different from you. Whatever it is that you want to achieve in life, it is better to get started now with something that is maybe suboptimal, because at least you're taking action. You can always tweak it and make it better. If you start a diet now, today, and it's the wrong diet, at least you started taking action. You're building the habit of taking action. And you can always tweak it later. No one says you have to start with the perfect diet or the perfect exercise program, right? Here's a motto I want you to think. There's no criticism, only progress. Not perfection, but always better. That's a really great motto to live your life by. So folks, let go of your perfectionism and you'll start realizing your goals, you'll have more joy in your life, and interestingly enough, people will like you more. So until next time, go be good to yourselves.